A very good evening to all our viewers. Welcome to this session of Getty's Live Talks. I'm Shivani Srivastav, Relationships Manager at Global Education and Training Institute. So today we have Ma'am Padmaja, who is the principal of Anant Vidyaniketan in Bangalore. She is also a Google teacher trainer. She has 25 years of experience in the field of education. She is a wonderful leader and a principal. So today she will be speaking on parents' expectations from their children. Here I once again welcome ma'am, and over to you ma'am.
Very good evening, Shivani. Thank you so much for giving this wonderful platform. And I like to thank Dr. Sunita Gandhi, the founder of GETI, for giving this platform for sharing our experience in the field of education. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. So I will be talking on parental expectations from their children and how to shape the minds of the next generation of students. Hope you will have a good benefit of the points. Thank you for sitting and listening to the talk. We start with a quote. Parents are the ultimate role models for children. Every word, movement, and action has an effect. No other person or outside force has a greater influence on the child than the parent. Hope everybody agree with this, by Bob Keeshan. So today's agenda about the talk is expectations. Parents' expectations are too high and low. What are the benefits of parental expectations? Parental expectations, pros and cons. Positive parenting, its type and how it encourages personal development of a child. Parents' involvement in education, the advantage and disadvantage. How do we educate the next generation? And the final topic is self-learning in the top skill for the future. Okay, everybody know what are expectations. Everybody have expectations. Now we'll see what expectation from parents for their children, from their children. The word expectation comes from the Latin word expectation, meaning and awaiting. If you have great expectations, you think something good will come your way. But if you keep your expectations low, you won't risk being disappointed. Now, here, parental expectations can be contrasted with parental aspirations, which refer to desires, wishes, or goals that parents have formed regarding their children's future attainment rather than what they realistically expect their children to achieve. Moving on to the next child. When a child is born, the expectations are more based on biological development. And as they grow older, then the expectations are more pegged on the personality and the environment. Here, when I say biological development, it starts from the months. Every parent will have that when my child will walk, when my child will talk, all this. As they grow older, their expectations more on their personality. Their expectations more will be on their academics and how they are going to live in this environment. If I go to the next slide. Parenting is not easy, and every parent wants their child to grow up to be happy, independent, and a high achiever. Parents should, however, be careful on how much expectations they place on their children, because too much may disorient and too little may deliver little. Therefore, parents should be positive and realistic on the expectations of their children, bearing in mind that every child is unique. Now, here I want to tell you, each parent, they expect more from their child. If their child, they won't be knowing what is their child's capability. Without their knowledge, they expect more in academics, especially in academics. Now, the competition is so much, they want everything done by their child. They have to study, they have to go for extracurricular activities, they have to do sports, swimming, everything. How much the parent is expecting from a child. If I go to the next slide, what when parents' expectations are too high, what are the consequences they face? Parents can undermine their children's performance in middle and high school if they set their academic expectations too high. So, I just want to tell you, each parent should know how their child is right from the kindergarten, how it is, how he or she is growing. So you have to have an idea what is their capability. Then you can have a high expectation. Next slide. As a parent, it is important to find the right balancing of setting expectations that are high without setting your child up for a failure. That is what, if you are going to set a expectation too high, the child have will won't be able to make up to that expectations, so it will end up for failure or causing undue stress on them when they are not unable to reach those expectations. It is a balancing act, and you know your child best and can make the appropriate guidelines. Here every parent will compare the child with the other child, maybe the neighbor, or maybe within siblings, they will compare with their own siblings. So maybe the younger one will be brighter than the elder one. Comparison starts there. So the stress for that child, imagine how much the stress it's for that child during the academic and going on when the child is growing, that becomes a big issue for the child, and that will have it in mind that something is blocking. So whatever the child is doing also, it won't be done automatically. The child will have that fear, okay, my father or mother is comparing me with my own brother or sister. This is happening in day-to-day life. The next slide says few things to consider when setting those high expectations for your child. See, as a educator or as a parent, I'm not telling that we should not have expectations. You can have expectations. Your child is an individual. Each child is unique. Don't set your expectation based on yourself. Now, for example, if somebody is an IITian and they want their child to go through all the things what they have done and get into IIT. This is the most of the parents' expectations in today's real world I'm talking about. For this, what they do is they will start putting them from 8th standard. Now it starts from 6th itself. There is a course which prepare for your level level by level for your IIT coaching. To get into the IIT coaching, the level starts from 6th standard, and the child has to undergo after the schooling, go for their tuitions, get into that. They can't concentrate on school, they can't do their tuition work also. There is no other areas where they can go play outside or friends. So they are into only study, study, study. So what I'm trying to tell is, don't set your expectation based on yourself. Be clear and consistent. Be clear and consistent means you have to be clear what your child's capability and how the child can do it. And consistent, you put a line, this is what I expect from you. So according to the maturity, according to the level of their expectation, see that your child can match up with that. So your expectations can be high, I won't say no, but you should know how the child is going to face it. My next slide will say the major expectations that parents have for their children is that they may excel in life, be it academically, socially, or even spiritually. Parents want their child to become the best. Some, however, in the quest of academic excellence, forget that not all children are academically gifted. Here I want to tell you, we have so many type of children in this academically. If I mention, we have slow learners, we have very different way of learning gifted children. Some are, in the sense, some only can listen, they don't want to write. So you need to know that all children are not academically gifted, and so they end up frustrating their children. You should slow, when they are growing itself, you should know what is your child's liking, in which field the child wants to study. Parents should therefore support their children in whatever field that they excel and base their expectations on the reality. This should be done keeping in mind if the child is happy and comfortable with what they are doing. Different children are gifted differently, and so expectations should be based on individual capabilities. For example, if I want to tell you, a parent, both parents are doctors, and the parents want their child to become a doctor, but child is against. There may be many reasons. Child is seeing from the childhood, both are working, both come late, and somebody else have to look after the child. So that can be carried over with the child. If I become a doctor, I'm going to be the same how my parents are looking after me. It's not only in the doctor fields, it can be in the software fields. Many fields are happening like this. So the interest for the particular course what they have to take, please leave it to the child. That will be the best. Up to 8 you can guide them. After that, they have their own way of learning. They want to achieve something, so talk to them, find out what is their expectations, what they have want to do. So you can't say everybody have to achieve in academic. Some are very good in art, some are very good in music, some are very good in dance. So minimum qualifications, if they finish it off, see that you make them to get into that type of course. That is what we teachers or educators want to inform the parents. So different children are gifted differently. Don't compare with any other child. Each child is unique. So expectations should be based on individual capabilities. When parents' expectations are too low, see, too high is also having problem. Too low also we will face some problem. When expectations are set ridiculously low, child's personality and sense of self-worth are negatively affected. We have to remember that self-esteem is vital for any well-adjusted person. Here, some parents don't have high expectations, but the child will have more expectations that he or she wants to excel. But the parents expectations and the parents, when they are talking to the child, you can't do it, you can't do this course, you can do only the course which I am going to suggest. This what they will have, their self esteem will go down. So when parents expectations are too low, also there is lot of negativity affected for for the child, and their self esteem will will play a vital role for any well adjusted person. If I see the next slide, the benefits, the how are parental expectations beneficial. Parental expectations help to nurture child's sense of self-esteem and encourage healthy development. Benefit of expectations, in the other hand, it will help to nurture child's sense of self-esteem and encourage healthy development. The next slide shows positive parenting. Positive parenting builds healthier relationships between parents and children. The approach makes parents more sensitive, responsive, and consistent in their interaction. Here, I want to tell you what is more sensitive, responsive, and consistent. Sensitive, they know what their child is and they are responsible for the action. And consistent, okay, this much is enough. They are happy with what their child is doing. So they are consistent in their interactions with their children, and it makes children happier, more optimistic, and more interestingly motivated to choose the behaviors that parents prefer. So positive parenting is the best way how it builds healthier relationships with parents and children. If parents respond by being irritable or aggressive themselves, children can mimic that behavior, and a negative cycle then continues to escalate. My quote says, parents are role model. So if you relate that, how you behave, the same you can expect from your child. So if you're the main four key points for positive parenting, effective parenting. The words and actions influence the way you want your child to act or be. Here, effective parenting, how effect your parenting comes here is the words what you speak, the actions, how you are influencing things, and you want your child to act or be. Consistent parenting. You follow similar principles or practices in your words and actions. Active parenting, you actively participate and are involved in your child's life. That is, every time you are with your child, you are actively participating. Both of you have a very good conversation all the time. You are actively with your child. Attentive parenting, you monitor and pay attention to what goes on in your child's life. That means whatever happens, both the child and the parent should share every day. If it is a smaller grade, you need to ask them, spend some time with children. What happened in the school? What are the subject? How many friends? What is happening in the playground? Everything has to be shared. Every day you need to spend some time with your child, so that becomes attentive parenting. You monitor them and you pay attention what they speak and what they ask for you, what goes in your child's life. The next slide. How can positive parenting encourage personal development? Positive parenting builds healthier relationships between parents and children. My before slide says the time, whatever you need to share, all the 4 points I was relating. So Positive parenting encourages personal development also. Positive parenting helps them to build self esteem and confidence, which is very important in today's life. Their confidence level, how you parent, how you are going to parenting them, according to that, the child comes out. They focus on using kind words and gestures, brainstorming solutions to problems together, and seeking to help improve our kids' decision. Here, kind words. See, when you are addressing anybody, they are looking, your child is watching you, how you are going to address them. The same will be followed by your child. That is what they focus on, using kind words. If you are kind, wherever, it's not only at home, where you meet, where you go buy things, where you go shop, if you're traveling, the words what you use, the gestures, that is all life skill. Life skill plays a very important role here. How you behave, the same way your child also behave. So there are some pros and cons on parental expectation also. Accountability. You are accountable for your child's growth. Your respect. You give respect and you take respect. The flexibility, that is resiliency. How flexible you are. The leadership, studious. These are all the pros. The cons are expectations can run too high. Sometimes it becomes unrealistic. Sometimes stresses out the kids, the more expectations. Move on to my next slide. Parent involvement in education. We have advantages and disadvantages. Children benefit from guidance by their parents, both at home and at school. This is the way the school also wants them to involve. See, some parents won't be interested in anything what the child is doing. The last day, they'll come and inquire everything with the teachers or the principal. But the advantage of parental involvement is from the day one. Children benefit from guidance by their parents both at home and school. At home, also the same. At school, also, you need to know what is happening. Parental involvement at school can build positive interactions between parents and kids, as well as parents and teachers. That's why when you involve in school with the teachers, you will be knowing what your kids are doing in school, and you also can talk to the teachers. This is the way my child is behaving at home. So you can interchange, you can have an interaction between the teachers, parents, and along with your kids. Next. Parent involvement in education disadvantages. If you see, some parents take their involvement too far. Every day coming to school, calling the school office and talking what is he doing. Every time they are at school so much that they become a source of distraction for their child or their child's classmates and teachers. So too much involvement is also not good. Not involvement is also not good. So you have to limit yourself where you need to involve in education or in school with your child. So they are at school so much and that they become sources of distraction for the child. You're distracting the child and the classmates and teachers. So that is the disadvantages of involvement in education. Next slide. Now, when we finish off all these things, now we need to know, how do we educate the next generation? See, so many things is coming up, the top challenges that shape the future are global warming, emergence of artificial intelligence, overpopulation, gender inequality, and vast wealth gap. Here, I'm not going to touch on all the points here, just I have put global warming, emergence of artificial intelligence, overpopulation, gender inequality, and vast wealth gap. Here, each and everything has a lot of meaning in this. So, how you're going to educate the next generation? It is unpredictability plus cross disciplinary is equal to future. You can't predict anything. For example, COVID-19, and nobody thought of 8, 10 months is over, we are not in school, only online. So the emergence of artificial intelligence, that is online teaching, has started. All the students are into it now. So we can't predict the future. Next slide. So for that, self-learning is the top skill for the future. Learning how to learn. That is self-learning, also autodidactism, is education without the guidance of masters or institutions. Without the guidance of masters or institutions. Now, what we are doing during the COVID is online teaching with the use of Google Apps and all the other things which is happening. It's a direct live classes happening. But autodidactism is the education without the guidance of masters or institutions. Now, for that, learn how to learn. How to learn encompasses searching for quality resources. The student should know how to search resources for the particular subjects, transforming those resources into knowledge through interpretation, assimilation, and other methods, scheduling for learning, assessing outcome of learning, evaluating, and iterating on the previous steps to better learn. Here, assessing outcome of learning. Whatever you have learned, you need to get assessed. Otherwise, how you know that you have learned and you will be able to do it? So there are methods evaluating and iterating on the previous steps to better learning. And the next slide says, learn how to apply. Whatever you have learned, you need to apply. Otherwise, there is no complete learning happens. So learn how to apply is one should also know how to abstract and apply knowledge to a range of disciplines. Scenario and evaluation is needed for one to learn how to apply knowledge. Always when it is a learning, always it should be applying knowledge. Then only complete learning happens. Practically, they should know what they have learned. So the conclusion part of this is lifelong learning requires people not only to constantly learn new things, but also to unlearn and relearn as the world changes. Thank you. I hope this information was good enough for me to share. If you have any questions, kindly you can ask me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was really a great presentation. We got to know a lot about the expectations that the parents have from their children. I do have a question here. Whatever you have talked about, uh, and keeping in view the present times, the present scenario, during the pandemic, when everyone is home, and the means of learning, the means of teaching has completely changed from physical world to a virtual world. How how can you say that the parents expectations have differed? Like, do have the expectations of the parents from their children differed, and if yes, how?
See, parents' expectation main is paying fees. They think online they don't have to pay fees. That is first drawback what they have started off with, especially for the private schools. They are thinking why we have to pay fees for online classes. So that was the main thing in private schools. The parents' expectation was this: when they are not going to school, why they have to pay fees? That is one major concern. And after that, once they log in, they want to sit along with their kids. What is happening? See, one or two classes, it's fine. For every class, they also want to sit along with the kids, what is happening, and commenting on the teachers. That has been noticed in many schools. So,
Right.
in this pandemic, learning is happening very nicely. The other part of the sides I can explain. There is no much distraction. If you take classes, many classes, see, one advantage is all the sections we can combine together. There is a group learning happening. All the students, see, if you have 4 section and each section you have a different teacher, better than that, one teacher for all the sections you can have, and the learning happens in a very different way, and all the things they are able to work on that. They get time to see the recorded video again and again. That is one advantage, because when live section goes, the teachers record the video and again they put it for the students, so the revision part becomes very nice, especially for the higher classes. They can see the video any number of times, so that the concept becomes very clear. You have
Yes.
any? Yes.
Rightfully said. Thank you. I think you have very clearly explained everything, and all the viewers, all the educators will benefit from whatever you have told. Well, with this, we come to an end to today's session. I once again thank you, ma'am, for being a part of Getty's disruptive education movement and sharing your thoughts here. We'll
Thank
meet
you.
again soon. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much, ma'am.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank you,
meet again
Shivani.
soon with another informative session. Until then, thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.